Weird guy, weird car. As embarrassing and difficult as it may be sometimes to be in something this weird, staging next to professional drivers, that's the only way I would have ever gotten involved at this level. So while it's terrifying and the pressure's on, and it's really fun to be able to have something that people pay attention to. And so I'm known to be weird. I have a weird sense of fashion. I do weird things, and so the car is a direct reflection of that. It's weird. It's not the fastest. It's not the best, but it's interesting. Interesting enough to have a conversation about. Denis Ivanov, VP of Software Development at FCP Europe. Been working to make websites for buying European car parts easier to navigate and quicker for our customers for over 10 years. So Dapper Drift was the name of the first project. V1 is in my background, the green vehicle. It's a Mercedes 5.4 supercharged motor-powered quote-unquote drift car. It's really a street build. And the idea was to keep the interior and make it comfortable, therefore Dapper Drift. Drifting isn't about being the fastest, but to me, recreational drifting is all about style. And so that's where the Dapper thing comes in, is hopes and aspirations of becoming a good enough driver to be able to fling the car around, dance it, make it look really nice, and all the while doing it in style. And tying it back to European cars that are always considered more comfortable, more luxurious. So I thought it was an interesting oxymoron and a juxtaposition of what's possible with what. I live in Northern California, and we have the Sears Raceway, Sonoma Point Raceway, where there's drift events almost every week, but once a year. In the winter, in December, they host something called Winter Jam. And at Winter Jam, it's an event much like this, maybe a little smaller, with various levels of driver experience. And I took Dapper Drift 1 there, and Speed Hunters were there, and they noticed the car, and they thought it was really, really strange that an E-Class 55 compressor AMG was there. And so Naveed from Speed Hunters actually reached out to me and said, hey, that's really strange. I'd like to cover this car. And we did a feature on it. And that was extremely humbling because I always thought Speed Hunters was this halo publication for fabrication and high performance vehicles. And I consider that a very, very humble build, if you can even call it that. So to see that kind of recognition for the unusual direction was really humbling. I'd say that was the apex of feeling proud. So we took the car to Grid Life thinking we're gonna give our fans and customers ride-alongs, and we did. The Michigan Gingerman course, and we had 5 people, including the driver, in the car. People were having a blast, there were smiles, it was a good time. Until we went off, as you do in a drift car, especially one with overheating tires, went off into the freshly mowed course that had been under the sun, getting nice and dry with all that mowed grass just stacking high, went sideways, scooped all that hot grass into the front wheel with huge AMG brakes that were hot. And that's a recipe for a small fire. That fire ended up causing a yellow flag and then causing a red flag. Matt Fields, FD777, Corvette Falcon team, noticed us, jumped out with a fire extinguisher, quickly put the car out. Hugs. The customers that were in the car were filming it, smiling. It was a blast. I'm glad we contained it safely. But the car's definitely scorched. And we haven't rewrapped it since. We kept that two-face aesthetic on it still. I realized that the ceiling for driving excellence in a vehicle like that is really low. We realized it was really more Dapper than it was drift. It's not a vehicle I could actually learn to be a drifter in. It's over 4,000 pounds. It has an automatic transmission. It's 2 pedals. And it's really difficult to get additional angle out of it. So I enjoyed it for what it was, but I never forced the car to be something it was never going to be. And so instead of putting a strenuous end to the relationship, I decided to do a graceful exit, if you will. And so for continuity and to continue the story and actually make something more drift, we decided with, well, by we, I mean me, I decided with an E-Class, same thing, a little bit older, with an LS engine, because those are prevalent in the drift world. They're easy to tune and more authentic to the drift theme. So the engine in this vehicle is a $363 2001 Chevy Tahoe motor with, at the time, 262,000 miles on it. And the chassis is a E300D diesel Mercedes chassis made in 1997 with, at the time, 234,000 miles on it. So this is a 250,000 mile car in every way that got a second chance. This car was sold to me for $950 with a full tanked diesel. I consider being, this is a fun thing. I enjoy the concept of being able to give the chassis a second life and a purpose. So it is a truck LS-based build with a Camaro transmission in it, the TR6060. Welded differential, custom one-piece drive shaft. Upgraded brakes all around, C32 AMG brakes in the front. A little bit of custom effort to get more angle out of it with all factory control arms on the bottom. Camber arms on all four corners, tow arms. Tube front, and an 8-point cage built by Drift Cave, Matt Field's shop in Northern California. And that's about it. Nameless performance hydraulic, Willwood powered rear brake, Holley EFI powered fuel injection, Sparco seats, Halo seats, a little bit of aluminum touches by myself here and there, and the all-important AccuSump wet sump oil accumulator. It is a lot better than that car. It weighs a lot less. It's 3150, give or take. So that it has better angle, it's a proper welded differential, has 3 pedals. So I believe this is a platform for me to actually learn how to drift. We'll see if that materializes. Considering wrapping it and making it look a little nicer. No real plans beyond that. I think the focus is actually to learn how to drift. I think the Dappers over here, this is really about drift. Ended up at FCP Euro while I was still in college, actually. My second car ever was a 1993 E36 325i silver sedan. And it needed parts, it needed a lot of work. I picked that car up with 136,000 on it. By the time I sold it, it will have accumulated 210,000 miles. So I pretty much had to do everything that there was to do on a BMW. I realized quickly that there's a company local to me at the time, Connecticut, that sold quality German car parts, and started talking with you guys. The year was 2009, maybe 2010. The company back then looked like nothing the mature, high-performing organization that it is today. It was very humble beginnings. Scott Jones is the CEO of FCP Euro. He's the man behind it all. One of the hardest working men I know, a really good friend of mine. But before I knew him and before I knew how hard he worked, thought the website could be a little bit better. I was in the field, so I figured I'd reach out and provide a couple of friendly suggestions. But in my youthful indiscretion, my wording wasn't perhaps the best, and so that email landed on Scott Jones, CEO's desk, to which he responded, and suffice it to say that mutual jabbing escalated into mutual respect. That led to this relationship. Yeah, it's definitely weird. It's surreal. The growth is explosive, and we have fantastic support from our customers. So luckily, we're crowd favorite, growing really quickly. Definitely feels really, really strange knowing where we come from to be able to be here alongside with Falcon, LZMFG, and other big names. It's incredible. My work relationship is pretty strained right now. The job is really difficult, and it requires all of me to pour myself into my people. So I went from being a solo developer, trying to make the website happen for FCP Euro, to now being the VP of software development, which is the highest externally facing technology position available at the organization. First of all, I'm incredibly humbled to be entrusted at that level. It's very nice to be recognized for hard work that you've been doing for a very long time. But also, I'm responsible for 8 other individuals' success. So I'm now a coach. I try to enable other folks' success. And so it takes a lot of me to be able to do that. So sometimes I question my ability to become a drifter when, 50, 55, 60-hour weeks are a norm, trying to do what we do. I don't really know. I don't know if I'm going to become a successful executive, or an okay drifter, or a shitty executive and a good drifter, or good at none of those things because I'm trying to do too much. But I'm going to keep trying. We'll see where we get.